This is here the new Mercedes 911 GT63 Pro. Wait a minute, did I say 911? What I mean is this is the Mercedes AMG GT63 Pro, and they want to fight against the Porsche 911. Well, obviously, visually they have moved closer to the 911, and also performance-wise, and also the concept that you can get a 2+2 seater. So everything set sails on Porsche 911 customer, but does it work? Especially here with the new Pro model that is supposed to be even sportier and even more optimized for the racetrack, where we are also today, and we'll test drive this one here on the racetrack and solve the question: can it be somewhat a competitor to a true 911? Let's find out. I'm Thomas, this is Autogefühl in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go with the front. The GT63 Pro gets, first of all, standard carbon fiber. Visually, you can directly see that. And also optimized air intakes, so they direct more cool air to the brakes, for example, for better brake cooling. Also optimized aerodynamics. So usually at really high speeds, the front lifts a little bit, just by the airflow, and that has been reduced by 30 kilograms. This is again better for high-speed driving on the track, for example. Alpine Grey is this very vehicle color here. And you have standard also 21-inch wheels, forged one. This is also of this Pro package, reduces the weight, and these carbon ceramic brakes are also standard. So basically, if you think about a GT63 and then add all the extras and make it as sporty as possible, horsepower-wise, there is this new performance plug-in hybrid available as well, but this one here is still the sportiest one in the sense of best for the racetrack, because the plug-in hybrid, of course, then also adds more weight. And my neighbor actually has recently bought a GT63, and maybe I can tease him a little bit with that there's still something on top of that here today. So best greetings, Thomas. He's actually having the same name like me. Then here, this typical shape, also the GT63 with a huge hip area. And yeah, it does remind us a little bit more with the 911 resemblance now, because it has become longer than before. And with the Pro model, usually you would take like an aerodynamic package for the normal 63. This one here then is included with the carbon fiber also there, really massive. A normal 63 would have a retractable wing for, let's say, a little bit more elegance. Rear axis steering, this one gets as well 2.5 degrees in the opposite direction in the front wheels. Yeah, some manufacturers are going away from that now, like Audi, for example, but here these are just, the tips. Yes, the air does go through, but this is not how the exhaust actually looks like, you know what I mean? Also more optimizations for the airflow in the underbody part and so on, and more carbon fiber. So yes, a very sporty look. And turning indicators, pretty cool here. Replace the daytime running light. And what's also a very nice feature is underneath here there is another aerodynamic function which optimizes the airflow, and you can also actually activate it from the inside. You can also see some water. There was like a lot of rain here in the morning, and there was obviously some water stored. Kudo, 좋아요, 알림설정, 부탁해요. And a quick technical deep dive. So here this is the underbody of the vehicle, and then this whole plate here actually lifts down in the front like this. So this is actually what we see there on the outside, and they are actually there's an electric motor that is putting that down, and it's connected then to the front of the vehicle with the rubber lip. So it's not that we blow air there into something, even though it looks like that. It's just like really a mechanical movement then, and it moves like this. And then the airflow is actually being speeded up. And it works like a wing. Also, if you compare it to an airplane lifts up because the air is going quicker over the wing than under the wing. And here it's like the reverse effect. So then with this additional mechanism there, the air goes quicker in the underbody of the car and sucks the vehicle even more to the ground. And the indicators here in the rear, pretty cool. Very wide, very visible here, the full lower part. Let's open the hood. By the way, double wishbone in the front for this one here. Adaptive suspension, you can set it with the driving modes, and also an anti-roll control. And under the hood, we have the 4-liter V8 bi-turbo. Normally in the 63 with 585 horsepower, here 612 horsepower, so a little horsepower upgrade, and also 850 Newton meters of torque instead of 800. And this does not change the 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, or 62 miles an hour figure, which is still at 3.2 seconds. In comparison, by the way, a new Porsche 911 GTS hybrid, the update there, that one has 3 seconds, so it's still a little bit quicker. So indeed, acceleration-wise, this more now in the region of a 911 GTS. And that would also fit from the orientation, like racetrack-wise, because it is also the sportiest version there, in the sense, again, not the quickest one. That would be at Porsche then the Turbo S. And here then the E-Performance version. But this one definitely laid out most for the racetrack. And this 50 Newton meter upgrade actually, as I said, doesn't change the to 100 kilometers an hour figure, but the 0 to 200 kilometers an hour. And that one then is half a second quicker. All-wheel drive is also standard with a rear-wheel bias, and it also varies a little bit. Now to the interior. Here the door handles, they fold out, and I still think it's not a good idea because, for example, not that it would have just happened, if the key is inside of the vehicle while you do some shooting and then the battery dies and the door handles are closed, they're shut. And then you have to manually like pull them out like with a credit card, and it's bollocks. So I think it's an over-engineering thing. Then door closing sound. That's actually pretty cool. I mean, it sounds almost like G-Class alike, a little bit interesting. Although these are here, of course, frameless doors then for this sports car. Then interior with microcut, that's their brand name here then for the microfiber, and here also with carbon fiber decor element. We also have somewhat covering here on the inside of the doors, AMG entry badge, and this steering wheel is available here also with microfiber at the sides. There's even one with carbon fiber at the top. Then I would probably pick these. Usually for the GT, here the AMG GT, you would also get normal sport seats. However, for the 63 Pro, these performance seats, these bucket seats are standard actually. And they also come in here with the microcut microfiber. Yeah, I also like to comp them in a proper direction, and it looks better actually. And of course they are, they're holding you tight. And the comfort, that is a thing at Mercedes in general at the moment, is that the seating comfort is really behind the competition. And these performance seats, the bucket seats, are really stiff. So that's something on the negative. On the other end, on the track, they will give us an advantage because they are keeping me tighter, definitely. With 189, 602, there's some headroom left. There's even a panoramic roof here available for the 63 Pro. So this is here like the performance-oriented thing, but you could even get the 2+2 version here. So at the moment here, you can see that there's nothing behind me really, just this wall. I could put a bag here theoretically, for example, also from the inside, but you can also get the 2+2 seater version. We had it in the normal 63 version, and as I said, it's also available here for the Pro model. Then this cockpit overview here with horizontal stress. In this case, yellow contrast stitches, but you can also can get different colors, of course. I really like the turbine air vents here. They also have clicking sounds, and they look pretty amazing. And they also have like, you can turn them around like this in the round style. It feels really nice. Glove box is here. Smooth. Down again. Yeah, maybe this could be a little bit more even here from the contrast stitches. Then also some carbon fiber here for the middle console. It's really large. Here then, however, high gloss black. You slide this open, and you have the cup holders, USB-C chargers, and inductive charging pad. And let's see, when this, I'm not sure, like this rubber thing they put there, I feel it's just too soft. And you can see there is a cooling hole, but we feel that the phone still overheats when you charge it with inductive charging. Nice micro covering here for this split. Open like this, two USB-C chargers, plop, plop. So these sounds are actually pretty cool. Yeah, and that steering wheel with the shifting pedals. And there will be in the racetrack driving moderation soon be upcoming a new mode that you not only see visually when you have to shift in the manual shifting mode, which you can activate here, but also an acoustic feedback. So we're going to try it out and see how that one goes. And here's steering wheel with hashtag capacitive BS buttons. So yeah, not my favorite, honestly, here for the cruise control, for example. This is actually pretty cool. You can activate the special exhaust sound, for example. This one is then here for this additional lip in the front from the lower body, and then you can switch through different stuff here. And here then the driving mode selector, you can easily control it while driving, so it's good to have that on the steering wheel. And then as for the digital instruments, there we go, and you can also pick different stylings, Super Sport, Sport, for example. Head-up display can also be activated like this, so whatever you prefer in that respect. And then the middle infotainment screen, as we know from Mercedes, the climate unit always stays here in this lower area. So for a touch solution, at least it's relatively easy to control, I have to say. And here you can see we are at the Ascari Race Resort, here Spain track, and you have this home menu, and also with the update here now, so you have these really large tiles, for example, and performance is actually quite nice. I will let that one run while we are on the racetrack, that you can also see some engine data here, for example. Oh, and there's the IWC analog digital watch, let's take it that way, where you can also use this start-stop feature. Yeah, and usually, of course, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Let's check out the trunk or the boot. 320 liters, and see here, this cover here automatically raises with it. However, I can also unbuild it. Let's take it that way here, and then like this, then it's gone. And there we can see it is actually quite spacious. Of course, way more spacious than the 911, where you only have the front boot actually. So here a better access. 80 centimeters or 31 inches in the width, and the length here, let's take it up the step. This is like 95 centimeters or 37 inches. Actually quite cool, I would say. And unload that one. Underneath, there's some more little space. There we go. And here you can see this is the version, as I said, without the rear bench. So this is then just fixed. You cannot fold this. If you would have the version with the rear bench, which is also available for the GT Pro, GT63 Pro, then you could fold this here. We had that actually in another video we did earlier with the normal 63 version. Woo! Welcome to Thomas's Driving Lounge in the racing style today. Mercedes AMG GT 63 Pro, and this is running like a pro. So sound-wise, definitely a big difference to the Porsche 911, because this V8 here does definitely deliver more sound. And yeah, I mean, I've been driving the normal 63 version so far, and this Pro here adds definitely more raciness. I can feel that already right now. I am in the race driving mode. This tunes everything for best, a lot of G-forces here. So for best sporting experience on the racetrack, means also the throttle input is really precise, just how I need it. Whereas actually in the Sport Plus mode, you have more throttle input on the first push. So, but here they try to make it as natural as possible. Hard on the gas, so that was really, really quick already. Good performance also sideways. 200, 210, so that was more than 125 miles an hour. Wow, this hooks up very well. I mean, this Ascari racetrack is treacherous, and it's still somewhat wet in some parts, so I really have to be careful, because yeah, this this Mercedes 911 is a little bit more loose. I mean, you can also deactivate ESC and so on if you really want to play with it. But I would actually say that the 911 feels a little bit more balanced, whereas this one is somewhat more V8 aggressive and so on, you know what I mean? So yeah, very subjective feeling definitely, but definitely performs super, super well here on the racetrack. And there are some parts like this one here, like this corner. When I was there on the, like the first time, you underestimate how sharp the corner is, and sometimes then you could just go straight, and almost all the professional race drivers did the same at the first. Pretty funny stuff then. yeah, it's really nice feeling on the throttle. Also, these carbon ceramic brakes give us good braking performance, so you can really feel that, very finely tuned. And indeed, double wishbone in the front, what we have here, gives me the stability I need as well. Now this here like a slower S chicane, really have to use the brakes right there. It's also not uncomfortable in a way, so although the suspension is tuned to the really stiff note, here on the racetrack of course we do need that. And there is a suspension difference between Sport and Sport Plus, but not anymore between the Sport Plus and the race mode. Then the suspension is already the stiffest note. This adaptive lower spoiler underneath the car, basically, this one by the way deploys depending also on the driving mode. So here in the race mode it already deploys way earlier, whereas in the comfort mode it's only way low, you know, like at higher speeds then. So this is also another parameter they set then here on the race mode, for example. The ESC, by the way, is not connected to the driving modes. This one you do rule separately, actually. Here, by the way, the steering wheel is really nice. Something maybe wasn't the best with Mercedes in the past, but here they really worked on it. So you see, I don't have to steer that much, and fine steering commands are transported onto the road. So I'm really happy with that. Now I can open it again, accelerate out. Very interesting, isn't it? And what else? Whoa, these G-forces that were being applied, so you feel the weight of the car. Yes, the GT Pro is I always pause that you can hear the acceleration definitely. So the GT63 Pro is not as heavy as the plug-in hybrid model, but still, yeah, I would feel the 911 feels a little bit lighter on the track, definitely a little bit better balance in the handling, but this one actually, I would say, more for the aggressive driver in that way, you know what I mean? And what I can also show to you is when we go into the manual shifting, so I can either just use the shifting pedals and shift down myself, and then I'm also staying in a gear, so this is actually possible. And when then you see, it's still the car shifted up itself. So this does happen. However, when I now activate here the manual shifting mode at the steering wheel, then I'm really into hard manual shifting mode. And then the vehicle also, here, there we go, stays in it. And did you hear that sound? That is actually a sound that is done by the vehicle itself to signal you that you have to shift up, like here. There we go. So then you even don't have to rely on the visual information or on the engine sound. You can just play your game. There we go. Listen to that sound and then shift up, that you don't stay in the ref limiter for like too long time or something like that. So very interesting what they've did there with that one. Would you fancy this option? There we go. However, you don't have to use it. You can also deactivate it, so you can use the manual shifting and at the same time do not use this sound. So it's something optional. If that's annoying to you, yeah, you don't have to use it. But of course, the best performance is usually when you let the car shift on its own, because then you can get maximum out of the vehicle, maximum performance here. Ooh. And the car does challenge you. It is a somewhat extreme vehicle, definitely. Seats are holding me tight. These bucket seats now on the racetrack play a good job of keeping me from this left and right. Feel a lot of G-forces. So yes, although they worked on the weight, you still feel the weight of the car. It's not a light sports car, this GT here, but still they tuned it the maximum out here for the racy performance. And if you plan to use it on a racetrack, definitely do not go for the plug-in hybrid, even though it's quicker in acceleration. This one here will definitely do better here on the track. By the way, with the all-wheel drive, it can do 100% rear, but it can do maximum 50-50 rear front. So it also varies a little bit, but definitely always a rear-wheel bias. And what I really have to say, the longer I drive here, so I was with the 911 GTS hybrid on this very track, and I really have to say this one here requires much more strength. So you feel it pushes you further, and really have to say the 911 is the easier car to drive, and I could take like double or triple the laps with the 911, whereas here, I mean, I'm in training my whole life, and I've been driving motocross and everything, and I'm still like constantly working out. So I'm fit, you know, but you feel how much toll it takes on your body, these G-forces, and you can only imagine how professional race drivers are being tormented in their vehicles, and what forces are being pushed and pulled from the body. That's really super extreme. Yeah, and this also tells you a lot about the difference here, you know. So for the track to drive, twice, 3 times the lap amounts or something, I would still take the 911. Weight savings here with this one here, by the way, 20 kilograms in comparison to the normal 63, but that means still 1,950 kilograms, so almost 2 tons. And the Porsche 911 GTS Hybrid, the new one, is 355 kilograms lighter. And that is the main thing I have felt here on the racetrack. The car does still feel heavy, and that's why it also took so much toll on my body and was actually like a lot of work to do it here on the track. So now I have to tell my neighbor Thomas that this one here is 40,000 euros more expensive than the one you bought actually. So a normal 63, one at 80,000 euros or dollars. This one here at 220,000 euros. So yeah, there's like 20,000 euros equipment in it, which you would otherwise go for it optional. But still this horsepower upgrades, some of the aerodynamic tweaks and so on, this then still comes on top. So yeah, you can decide if you want to buy a flat or then this vehicle here, for example, also for the racetrack. And it has been really interesting to drive it on the track, yes, and it has great performance. The main thing is, even if this one here has no hybrid in it and so on, a Porsche 911 will always be lighter and still more suitable for racetrack driving only. This one you would pick, yes, it does work on the racetrack. We have a lot of fun with it. It's a little bit, let's say, a little bit more brutal in a way. That's not as balanced as the 911. Let's take it that way. And that can be a pro or a con. And if you mainly drive it on the motorway and in the city, then probably you would rather care about like brand image, which one you like best, and also about the design, because design-wise, definitely this one also works very well.